Hello, welcome to Introduction of Java Programming series. In this episode, we will be learning a very important concept of Java programming, that is constructor. Constructor, as the name says, is used to construct the Java class object. Basically, constructor is used to initialize the Java class object. There are two types of constructor: default constructor and parameterized constructor. A parameterized constructor is that in which we pass the parameters. As we have seen in the previous episode, in case of methods, we have passed some parameters like int for integer type variable, string for integer, string for string type variable, etc. So let's go and check the practical implementation of constructor. So open your Eclipse. In the src folder, create a new class and name it as constructor example. And I'll click on public static void main. Let me just create a method here, that is public void data. Now this public void data method will have what? I'll print some value in this. Okay, and the value will be inside data. So I'm getting this error, right? This is because I am creating a method within another method, which is the main method. So that's why I was getting this error. Okay, so as I mentioned, constructor is used to construct or initialize the Java object. So if I try to run this program, it won't run because it doesn't have a main method, right? So to test this, because we need to initialize the object, so I'll go in this example, the method example, and in the main method of this example, I'll call my constructor example class. We'll call this using the class name constructor example. CE is the object name, equals to new constructor example, and CE dot data will be printed. So in this case, it should print the value of sum, then out of sum, then mul, and out of mul, then the data part. So to remove confusion, let me just comment out this portion so that we are left with only constructor details. And I'll run this and it should print inside data of this class. So you can see the linking, right? We have called here the constructor example class, which is this one, created an object for this class, and then we called the method of our class, that is constructor example. Alright, till now we do not have any constructor. Java has automatically created a constructor for us, which is default constructor. Now we will check the structure of the default constructor, how it looks. So the constructor name will be same as the class name. This is the first rule. It is a special kind of method, and it will be called first in the program. After that, it will call anything. Means like this, we have a public void data method, right? So the data method will be called only after the constructor. Alright, so let's just check whether it call the data first or the constructor. So I'll write inside default constructor and save this, and I'll run method example. Now since I am not printing anything, right, for constructor part I am not printing anything, but right now what it will do is it will print both the things. Means if I'll run this program, it will print first of all inside default constructor. As I mentioned that the constructor will be the first thing which will be accessed, and after that all other things will be accessed, right? So we are getting inside default constructor, and after that we are getting inside data. This is an example of default constructor. Now let's just check how we work with parameterized constructor. For parameterized constructor we need to pass parameters, right? So I just made a copy of this and I am passing an integer type parameter in this, and I'll write here inside parameterized constructor. With parameter I'll write param equals to and plus a. I'll pass this parameter. So what happens is, in this case, if I pass any integer here, okay, so here means while creating the object of the class, if I pass anything in this class object, so it will go to this particular statement and it will execute this. Please keep in mind, if you are creating a parameterized constructor, then you should have a default constructor too. Alright, so let me just pass a value here and int x equals to 5. Okay, and I'll pass x here and save the data. In this case I should get the parameterized constructor. Okay, so now I am getting inside parameterized constructor with parameter equals to 5, and after that inside data. Please note that right now, since I didn't have a default constructor, means I have passed a value while creating the object, therefore default constructor is not executed. If it has been executed, then we should get inside default constructor too, right? So this is how we work with constructor. Thanks for watching.